welcome to ADHD Friendly. I'm Patty Blinderman. I'm an ADHD coach. I've been coaching since 2012.
Wow.
I know. I realized that when we turned to 2024, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like 12th year. That's crazy. And I am the creator of the ADHD Friendly membership platform. I invite you to check it out, where everything is designed to tilt the playing field, close the gap so that we move from struggling to thriving with ADHD. Who wants to struggle?
Nobody
wants to struggle. Happy 2024. I'm going to say that for the first few this month because it's exciting. A new year, new beginnings. Always a fun time. This is episode 116. And as always, I'm going to start off with a celebration. And then I've got an ADHD friendly tool and topic. They're both the same thing this week. It's how to use AI or ChatGPT as an ADHD friendly tool. So I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to actually start before my celebration, Becca. I keep meaning to share this. And this is back from December when I printed this out. Do you have a guess? You guys know I've shared how much I love my Epson EcoTank printer, how it has just been a game changer in terms of saving me money on ink, because I am a very external concrete visual tool person.
I love to print.
I love to print, and I like to print uninhibited, meaning I like to print in color. I don't want to have to think about it. I just want to print everything the way that it is and not have to make decisions about, ooh, should I conserve ink and print it in black only? I just print whatever it is. It gets printed. So guess how many color pages I have printed since July of 2021. So at the time I printed this, I had the printer for 1 year and 5 months.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
I printed a report and it told me, and I was like, what?
It's gotta be hundreds. How much? Thousands? Thousands? You printed.
Just color pages. 15,001.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I know. It's true.
I've helped though.
So I'm sorry, like if people are out there like, oh my gosh, you're killing trees. I'm supporting my brain. I really am. And I plant trees. So I'm trying to offset. Total pages, 16,674.
Oh my
So I mostly print in color currently. But I just couldn't believe, I mean, it makes sense because every time I go to Costco and I buy a ream of paper, it's 500 pages. And I buy them all the time.
Yes.
So yeah. I'm so glad I finally said that, because I have been meaning to share that little tidbit of information for a while now. And
that is too funny.
And I have to say, you know how many times I've purchased ink? This is the actual thing I need.
Barely any.
I have used 2 blue color inks. I don't think I've purchased, because they come in a pack of 1 black and then 1 blue, 1 yellow, and 1 red. I think I may have opened my second black one. I don't even know if I have. And so I've not even gone through the second set of ink that I purchased.
That's insane.
I have literally saved hundreds and hundreds of dollars on ink. I'm so excited. It still works like a charm, prints beautifully. So that was my little, I am not in any way reimbursed or financially incentivized by Epson. Just sharing, I was spending so much money on ink with my HP printer that I read a review about the EcoTank systems and I was sold. And I just love it. I print color pictures on it. I just use it for everything. So fills up my expecto patronum journal.
Yeah.
How I capture wins. I don't have to, I made 3 kids expecto patronum journals for Christmas. Printed tons of pictures. It just gets me out of my head. I don't have to like kind of like think, oh, am I going to run out of ink if I print it? I just print. Print. And I shared how using the expecto patronum journal as an ADHD friendly tool is key. And I've talked in previous episodes about how to make it. So I don't remember that episode number, Becca. This might be a place to like pop that up. Hopefully it's going to appear on the screen. If you're listening to this, I invite you to check out my YouTube channel, ADHD Friendly, where you can see the different things I am demonstrating throughout the episode. But I talked about that, and also how making them for family members can be an important tool to launch their connection to their wins, and how capturing their wins can support them to shift out of negative mindset to shift out of negativity,
Yeah.
to get out of setbacks with a little bit more ease. All right, that's it. Transitioning to this episode. My celebration is I finished writing out my 24 and 2024 list.
Ooh,
and it was
exciting.
Very sparkly, but I'm just going to talk about my exercise
Okay,
specific goals.
got it.
So I'm continuing my yoga practice Monday through Thursday. That's not even listed in there. That's just what I'm continuing. I went back and forth with I shared a lot last year. I did the 23 in 2023 outside that was inspired by the Happier podcast with Gretchen Rubin. And so I participated in that and I loved it. And I ended up walking every day through December 31st, only missing 2 days way back in July when I was sick. So I walked 363 out of the 365 days for at least 23 minutes outside every single other day. And that was so sparkly that I was going to increase my goal to walk the equivalent steps, even if I'm gardening or, doing yard work, 2.4 miles a day outside. Ooh. Yeah. Sounded very sparkly, taking the 24, turning it into 2.4. I was like, ooh, that's fun.
Look at that.
That was totally it. I wrote it down. That was what I was going to do. And the closer I got to the new year and thinking about implementing that, again, I live in Chicago. It's cold out there.
Cold.
It's harder to get it in the limited amount of daytime we have. And when I thought about that expectation, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do it. But I know about myself and what our brains typically struggle with is if we're feeling resistance and we have to do it multiple times, our resistance just gets higher and higher. So I was like, nope, I'm not going to do that. So I decided, I'm just going to up it a minute. I'm just going to do 24 and 24. But I'm also challenging myself to take 24 days off this year, because there were times where I was traveling or when I was sick that it was really, really hard to fit it in.
Sure.
And so I made some structure. Becky, you can see it because you're sitting where you can see it on the wall. I've got my new same calendar up I had last year, just the 2024 version. And I took this picture before I started marking it down. I put structure around my intention to take 24 days off. I put 24 little arrow Post-it flags, and I wrote numbers 1 through 24 on them. So when I take a day off, I peel that day off and I stick it on the day I'm taking off. And it reminds me how many I have left and whether or not I've used them. So I'm very visual and very concrete. I need ways to see what my intention is so I can implement it with more ease. So it's all in there, very sparkly. I am super excited. I know I can do it because it's literally, most days I ended up walking 24 minutes. So even on those days where it's super cold and it's really hard, it's just 1 minute longer. So I'm like, I feel like I can sustain that and it's still upping my goal structure, but it's allowing myself to take some days off when I have company or I'm traveling or just, some grace. So that's very sparkly. And then the one thing I added as well was I wanted to add some weight bearing exercise. Yes. So I decided 1 time a week, 5 minutes. That's it.
Love that.
I'm not going to expect myself to do it 3 or whatever, or 10 minutes, or nothing.
No.
5 minutes once a week. So that leads me into the tool, the ADHD friendly tool and topic for this week.
Love a good tool.
Which is, did I say what the topic was? I think I did. Yes.
Yeah. I know. I was so into it. I was
guys, I know. Focus, bring it in. So the tool is ChatGPT specifically.
Robots.
So AI, Becca's like, what are we talking about? Robots? Kind of. Yes. Speaking of which, no, that's a side story. I'll tell you. I'm just going to go into my family. We go out to Chinese food on Christmas night. I have to find the name of the restaurant we went to because it was so good. But a robot brought the food.
No, that's so cool.
It came and I was like, what's happening? And it kept nudging to let you know that it was it had these trays inside, or that you took the plates out. I was like, this is crazy. And then when you took everything, it asked you are you do you have everything? And you had to touch its face and click yes, and then it did this smile. I was like, this is so cool and so weird. But so yes, that's what made me think of the robot. Yes, but anyway, now what I'm talking about is AI that you can access through your computer, your smartphone, whatever. But specifically ChatGPT. Which did I tell you for months I was calling it GTP? I had it completely wrong, and one of my kids was like, Mom, it's GPT. It took a long time for me to
I would
twist the
know.
acronym
Right.
around and get it in the proper order and say it confidently. So hopefully I'm correct. So anyway, the first thing I'm going to start with, I'm going to wrap back to my goal of weight bearing exercise in a minute, but I'm going to start by defining, because I was like, well, what does that mean, GPT?
Right.
What is that acronym? And I'm here to tell you guys, if you're like an expert in AI and machine learning and all that, good on you. That's awesome. Love it. I'm not. So let's be really clear. I'm going to be coming at this from a very surface level, very introductory perspective. But I do want to explore it because it can be an ADHD friendly tool. So I'm going to be sharing what I've noticed works for me and some ways that you might want to experiment trying it to support you in your life. So first, the definition. The G stands for generative. I have to tell you, after I read this definition, I knew less about it than I knew before. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. But generative, the P is pre-trained, and the T is transformer. Oh. Now there's a lot of little words after that explains it further.
Interesting.
I read all of it. I'm not going to waste your time here because it didn't help me. And again, if this is something that's your area of expertise, post in the comments for episode 116 an easier way to understand if there is those words, because it didn't help me at all. So we're just staying with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to begin with how I've experimented with it. Now, Becca, you know, one of these is, I found it a way, and this is probably the most helpful way I found personally to use ChatGPT with ADHD brain wiring. And that's as a task initiation tool. It's a way to start more easily. And my example for that is, remember when I was trying to prepare for the conference and I was trying to make a conference bingo card? Yes. I was wasting so much time and energy trying to think of different things I could fill in the conference bingo sheet, all of the different blocks with different examples of things you could do at a conference to try to get conference bingo. Things like visit a different conference booth, take a mindfulness break, participate in a Q&A session, just all different things you could do at a conference to try to get conference bingo. I couldn't think of anything. And the more I try to think of something, I'm like searching conference sites, I'm searching all these things. And then I realized, what if I just put it into ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT to give me examples to fill a conference card with things you could do at a conference while attending a conference? It did it in less than 3 seconds. It spit out all of these examples, and then I could just pick and choose or blend some, or it just got my mind going. It was amazing. Made the card, no problem, finished it up. It was amazing. I've also used it to help me write a blog post because I wanted to see if I'm writing about this topic. So I did a topic on my blog, ADHDfriendly.com. I have a page on my website that is a blog page. And I had a talk I'd already done. I had all of my notes. So I put it in there and I said, help me write an article that I can post on my blog. Yeah. And I told it, I think I said I wanted it to be 250 words. And, you know, I gave it parameters and I gave it some talking points and things that I'd already written. Sure. It compiled it in, not kidding, like 6 seconds. It was done. Amazing. And I read it. And what's really odd is the more I post things, the more it does learn my language. It knows I'm an ADHD coach. It knows what I do. It takes like what I've already put into it and it incorporates it. So I was reading it and I was like, this literally sounds like me. And I was so uncomfortable with using it because I was just doing it for fun because I heard that you could do this. And I was like, I can't post this because I didn't literally write all of this. Yeah. And so then I was like, well, okay, ChatGPT, how do I give credit to AI for helping me write this? I said, give me 10 different examples of ways people can credit AI for helping to write something. And it, of course, instantly in 3 or 4 seconds gave me all these different ways I could credit it. So if you check out my blog post at ADHD Friendly, you'll see the latest blog post on there. I have written by Patty Blinderman with the assistance of AI tools or something like that. Which I was like, that was so cool because it just felt so out of integrity to put it. I'm like, I can't put this up here without being really clear that I totally got help from an AI tool to write this. So that's another example of starting something, right? So you can also go in there and say, give me an outline I actually did it after I did my conference session. Oh. I put in what my topic was. I said, give me an outline. And it was crazy. I said, with time estimates, and it broke it down into segments. And it was roughly pretty darn
Pretty
close to what I
spot
already
on.
had. And I was like, I took hours, like literally hours.
Hours.
And it was kind of scary and amazing at the same time. Cause I
How
was like,
fast?
this is so much better than mine.
No.
No, it's so much faster. And it's not a person. So it's not putting that human element into it,
Yeah.
but it does create a shortcut, right? So if you don't know where to start, it can be, can you give me an outline for a talk on this topic? Can you give me an outline for a paper I want to write on this, or an article I'm going to write, or whatever, where it's kind of creating some structure to jump off from instead of a blank page. Those blank pages can be really hard for us to start with. I also asked it to help me draft a card, a sympathy card, for someone I wasn't really close to, but when I heard what happened, I couldn't not acknowledge it.
Yes.
And that typically can take me, I'm not kidding, at least an hour, if not longer.
Yeah.
Because I never know what to say. I end up having to Google, like, how do I say this? So I immediately was like, what if I put it into ChatGPT? And it was beautiful. And I literally could just take a couple of ideas, a couple of sentences, and then I could go and take it and make it mine.
Mhm.
I didn't write on the card with assistance from ChatGPT, but it allowed me to get some ideas as a jumping off point to start.
Get started.
So there is definitely a way to explore this, where I encourage you to check in with your own integrity, to notice what feels authentic, what feels like, okay, if I put this out there, is it really mine? Because we don't want to be sharing things that we didn't really create without acknowledging where we got some ideas, some support, where that's appropriate. So, you know, it's very individual. This is all very new. So I do want to kind of encourage, as you explore using this, keep in mind ethics and your own integrity and what feels like something that, a way that you can use it while staying in alignment with your values. Okay. Here's the other thing that ties directly into what I was sharing around my weight bearing exercise. I realized I didn't have a specific plan for what I could do
with your weight.
Yeah, I was like, am I going to join a gym? Am I going to explore maybe hiring a personal trainer, and how much does that cost?
Yeah.
I just am doing 5 minutes once a week. So I was like, maybe I can go online and search routines. I don't know.
Sure.
But I realized if I didn't get clear about what I could do, it was going to get in the way of me
Starting.
even doing it. Right. So put it into ChatGPT.
Hey.
Here's what blew my mind. And this is what I absolutely had to share because it was crazy. I asked it to give me 15 weight bearing exercises that I can do from home. Of course, it did it in 3 to 5 seconds. It gave me a list. It just literally, I took a screenshot of it and printed it out. And then I love, like, at the end, it says these weight bearing exercises can be performed at home, promoting strength, stability, and overall fitness. Adjust the intensity based on your fitness level.
Love that.
Thanks, ChatGPT. So then I said, please list the equipment needed to do and examples for each. Because I realized just a list of activities, it was like, you could do lunges, you could do planks, you could do a bridge exercise. I was like, what's a bridge exercise? I don't even know. So I said, okay, so break these down and tell me what equipment, if any, I need and the instructions to do them.
Yeah.
This is what ChatGPT said. Certainly. It's very positive.
Why, thank you.
Here are the equipment items needed and the instructions for each of the weight-bearing exercises. So first of all, this was really helpful because I can be very literal sometimes. I thought weight-bearing exercises meant I need to be lifting weight, physical weight.
Yeah.
Which is why I was thinking I'm going to need to join a gym or hire a personal trainer.
Right.
Because I'm going to hurt myself if I just start flinging weights around. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't realize push-ups were considered weight-bearing exercises.
Oh, because you're lifting yourself.
Yeah. I didn't realize wall sits. Like, like where you.
Yeah, you hold up against the wall.
Lunges.
Interesting.
Calf raises.
I wouldn't have thought any of
planks.
those.
I do a lot of these in yoga.
You do.
I never gave myself credit for them, but I do.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I just dropped my book. So I was just like, okay, this is really, really helpful. If ChatGPT is right, again, episode 116, post in the comments if it's not. Because like I'm literally like, I'm such a novice at this that I'm just like, but I now have 15 weight-bearing exercises with the equipment needed and the directions for how to do each of the exercises.
Without hurting yourself.
I've got a cheat sheet to do it.
Love it.
Done. Okay. So that was very, very sparkly for me to, again, it's a way to start.
Right. Gets you going.
Gets me going. So then I started wondering, because I use free version of ChatGPT. Super easy. You sign up with your email, you set up your password, you're in. Doesn't cost anything. So I know people that pay.
Oh, for
Last
like
at
the
last
higher.
check, yes. There's
higher
different
up.
levels. I think enterprise is like you got to call and get a quote. But for I don't remember if it's called professional or not, but there's free and then there's the next level that's paid. It is $20 a month, I think. So again, it's another subscription. I'm resisting subscriptions. So I didn't know. I'm like, what does it give me? And I did read the differences. I really couldn't figure out, do I need that? What does it give me? So I asked ChatGPT.
The difference.
And I said, can you tell me what the difference is between a free versus a paid subscription to ChatGPT? And it did. And when I broke it down and I read it, I realized there was nothing in there that I felt like I needed to pay for.
Right.
There was some value, but not value that it was like, you like, because apparently during busy times, it takes longer to process your request and give. I have never had to take more than 10 seconds. So I'm like, I can wait 10 seconds. I'm good. Like, I'm actually okay with that. But maybe I'm not using it at a time that it would be bogged down and it might really lag. I don't know. I haven't encountered that. So for me, for what I've used it for and just playing around with it, maybe it organizes better. I didn't get evidence of that because I was trying to think, is there a way that maybe it stores the things you've requested in a way that would be easier to go back and find? I don't know. I didn't see evidence of that. So I didn't really see any benefit that I would get at the level I'm using it for to pay for the subscription. So I encourage you, if you're going to try this out and this isn't something that you've really explored, perhaps, just experiment with the free version and see, do you even need to pay for the paid version? Now, I don't know, maybe if I paid for the paid, I'd be blown away by what I get in response, because it did say that the quality of the responses could be improved and more specific to your niche.
Oh.
I just haven't seen, I'm not using it to really write things, except for those examples. I just was playing around with it. I don't really use it for things that I think I need to pay the $20 a month. Yeah. But it's a fun thing to go and ask and get some examples for. So then of course, the thing I asked it is, please tell me ways to use ChatGPT as an ADHD friendly tool. So remember, I've been asking it a bunch of prompts related to ADHD and ADHD coaching. So it has learned a little, I think, over the little bit that I've been using it. And it gave me 15. And what I've learned is if you give it a range, give me 3 to 5, give me 5 to 10, give me 10 to 15, it always gives you the higher number. So I have stopped asking it for the range. I just ask it to give me the 15 or whatever ways. That I just highlighted a few. So I asked for 15 and I'm just going to highlight a few of them that ChatGPT says can help with ADHD. It's in terms of being an ADHD friendly tool. So it helps brainstorm ideas. Now, clearly I've shared examples of that when I asked for samples for my conference bingo sheet. When I asked for examples of weight bearing exercise, it's like, it literally, it's like, give me all these different examples of things. It's great at that. Very sparkly. It says it's good at decision-making support. And so if you remember, I was before the conference talking about how my membership platform, ADHD Friendly, I have a price lock guarantee. So when you join, whatever the price is when you join, I'm never going to increase it. And I literally, before I went to the conference, I was telling Becca, I was like, I don't even know if this makes any sense. Like, I'm not a business major. I'm a solopreneur who, this is what I want to do because it feels right to me. I don't want to have to, charge this and then tell people, oh, sorry guys, now it's going up. It just feels very yucky to me. And something I hate when I pay for something that's a subscription, when it goes up, I'm like, why don't you grandfather me in?
Because I've been.
And raise prices for people that are coming in new. So I made that the model for my membership because it's what felt right. But I was like, I don't even know if, people that majored in business would look at me going, yeah, Patty, you realize that model is broken and it does not work. And so I went and I asked ChatGPT, I said, can you give me examples of pros and cons of offering a price lock subscription program? And it did. And I felt better. It gave me literal companies that do it and have done it with success, and literal companies that have done it and not succeeded, and reasons for it. So it's a very sparkly thing. So that's just an example that I tried to help me with decision making. still do the price lock. ADHDfriendly.com for more information on the membership. I'm trying to get better at marketing. It's not something I'm so like really comfortable with. But anyway, they also listed learning new skills. So again, you can request step-by-step guidance, just like I did. Can you give me the steps for this exercise, which I thought was really, really sparkly and helped me a lot. Some of the things that I found surprising that I searched specifically for this that I want to share. So one of the things it said it can do is create and organize your to-do list.
Ooh.
Which I was like, how does it create a to-do list? How does it know
what you need
to do? So I asked it,
yeah,
how do you create? And so it gave 12 steps, which I have to say, I was a little overwhelmed just reading it. I was like, forget it. I don't want to make a to-do list anymore. Yeah, where it was like, clarify your goals, list your tasks, prioritize your tasks, break down your tasks, set realistic timeframes. Okay, great. But like, it wasn't very sparkly.
Yes.
If you need that, it will do that for you. So then I asked, okay, that's interesting, but I'm going to put in the tasks I have to do. I already have on my to-do list. I asked it to prioritize and give me time estimates because I was just really curious because I had already done it. I already wrote my list in the order I wanted to do it in. I already put time estimates. So I know how long these things take me. So I said, I have to dispute a charge on my credit card. I have to schedule my physical and I have to go to the store. Help me prioritize this list with time estimates is what I said. And again, 3 seconds.
Boom.
And it said, certainly, it calls me ADHD coach, certainly ADHD coach. Let's break down and prioritize your tasks. This is what I found really interesting. If I've been talking a long time and you're a little winded, come on back because this was really, really fascinating.
Important.
This is like some good stuff here. I was blown away. It does make me a little like, holy crow, what does like, and I know it does like, this is like minimal,
yeah,
but in day-to-day getting started kind of things,
yeah.
I was really impressed by this. So it said, number 1, dispute a charge. So it told me to do that first. Here's what I love. It gave me an estimate of 20 minutes, which was very, very good.
Yeah.
I think I estimated 15, but that was like pretty spot on. And then it says action, call your bank or credit card company to initiate the dispute. Gather the necessary information before the call. Very helpful.
So you have your papers.
Yep. So it said, do that first, which I agree. Number 2, schedule a physical. Again, I was like, okay. Like they're both online things. So to me, they were interchangeable, but I liked the thought. It said it's estimated 10 minutes. It said to either call or to use the online platform to schedule your physical, have your calendar handy. Great. Number 3, run to the store. It estimated 30 minutes. It said, make a quick list of the items that you need, head to the store and aim for efficiency, stick to your list to save time. Here's what I really loved. At the end, it broke down the strategy. So it said, tackle the dispute first as it may require prompt attention. I love that detail because I saw them as interchangeable. I was literally like, yeah, I need to do the computer first because if I run to the store, the chances of me coming back to my desk and my computer are almost gone. So I was already going to do those 2 first, but I loved the way that it said, but there might be something else you need to do with the dispute that's going to create more urgency that you need to do it. Then it said, schedule your physical next, making use of any downtime during waiting periods. I don't know what that, maybe it was saying like, I don't know what it meant by there, but I did like the idea of making the physical next.
Yeah.
But here's what I thought was really interesting. Finally, head to the store with your list to maintain your focus and efficiency. Again, it was what I knew and how I scheduled it. But if you're not quite sure why it scheduled it, I love that it broke it down and said why. So I would actually include that in my prompt next time. I would say, here are my to-do lists. Can you prioritize these with time estimates and tell me why you put them in the order you put them in?
Yes.
I love, love, love that because then it's helping you to see, is that true for me? Does that, it might be, their explanation might be like, okay, I hear why you think that's actually more important than this, but I actually get overwhelmed, make it a physical. If I don't make it first, I'm not gonna like, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I just love that it went into the details of what I would need to do to get that done. So I found that really sparkly. I found it really interesting. I could put in my task and have it prioritized for me.
Yeah.
Because remember with ADHD brain wiring, our priorities are often the flat landscape. Everything feels equally important. Having something that can make peaks show up as this is actually a higher priority can be really helpful. And it offering the time estimates. There was one I did earlier. It wasn't included in this one. I asked, I did a different list of tasks, and I asked it to prioritize them in terms of 6 different tasks with time estimates. And all of the time estimates, again, were pretty spot on, except for planning the podcast episode.
Yeah.
I planned an hour and a half. It gave me 45 minutes. 45 minutes might be a reasonable estimate. It takes me a little longer to plan, but I thought it was so eerily close. But again, if you're not quite sure how long something will take, it could be a way to experiment with time estimates. And then you can time yourself and see, is this about how long I take to do this task?
Right.
So it gives you that baseline. I just thought that was a really sparkly way to play with it. So that was just a little examples of how I've used it in some ADHD friendly ways to get started. And I just invite you to explore, if you've already used it and you have other examples of how you've used it to support your ADHD brain, please post in the comments for this episode 116 on my YouTube channel, ADHD Friendly. Would love to hear how you're using it, or if you experiment, what you learn. So maybe you find out, something that you're like, oh my gosh, I can take this and use it this way. We all learn from each other. So I would love to hear, because like, as I've shared, I've only used this for a couple of months and I don't use it all that often, but the more I use it, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a game changer.
Yeah.
It just saves a lot of time for things that it would take me forever to start. So my thing is using it for task initiation, but I would love to hear what you use it for. All right. I just want to do a quick overview. ChatGPT being the main tool, post in the episode anything that you learn. And then as I wrap up, I do want to share, I did want to share my thumbs up, ChatGPT. ChatGPT as a really fun way to just explore some ADHD friendly approaches to making it easier to thrive with ADHD. All right, now my quote for the episode. This is from my Kevin Kelly book, Excellent Advice for Living. Kevin says, if you are not falling down occasionally, you are just coasting.
Ooh.
That's a goodie. So we have to, if we're not stretching ourselves, if we're not trying new things, then yeah, we're not going to fall down, but we're also not growing.
Yeah.
So I love that, especially as we're in a new year, and it's a clean slate. It's a new opportunity to explore what we want from the year and how we want to stretch ourselves. What do we want to do to step outside our comfort zone a little bit? I just shared that. I'm like, I was like posting this thing. I said it. I already said it. But that's all for this episode of ADHD Friendly. Remember, take what works for you, leave the rest behind. Share if it moves you, if it motivates you to post what you learn or what you have tried or what others might want to try. It, always helps us to build up our little toolbox. And as always, if you like this, follow. Want to celebrate. We went over 500 over the holidays and just kept going. So welcome. If you're new to the podcast, thank you so much. If you've been listening and you just, took that step to subscribe, so appreciative of everybody that shows up. And hopefully we'll just keep growing and thriving with ADHD. Until next time, tally ho.